Okay, good morning, everyone. So today we are doing lesson 5. Oops. Okay, so module 5, lesson 5. So today we're going to be talking about volume, and we're also going to relate that to, instead of just thinking about like boxes packed together in to create a box, we're going to think about volume as also filling something up, so like liquid volume. So let's start off with number 1 here. It says, determine the volume of 2 boxes on the table using cubes, and then confirm by measuring and multiplying. So what we would do in school is I would have a whole bunch of different things there for you, and you would pick one and find the volume. But I just created 2 that we're going to use. So let's label the first one box number 1. Okay, and the first thing asks us for how many cubes are packed into this beaker. So I see that I only have 1 layer. It's 1 layer high. So I can just count these cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now, they want us to find the length, the width, and then the height. Okay. So to count length, we're just going to count along one side. So how many blocks are there for the length? Summer, how long is this? Did I lose Summer? Somebody else help me out. How long is this figure?
4.
4. Good. And what about the width? How wide is it? Let's count along the other side. What's the width?
2.
Good job. And then the height. So if I show you this side, how tall is it? What's the height? So I'm basically just counting this side up. Kind of hard to see on the camera. It's not too high. Remember, if it was too high, I would have like another layer on top. But I've only got 1 layer. Right, 1 layer. Perfect. So let's multiply to find the volume. 4 times 2. So this is basically what we're doing here. I'm putting a multiplication sign between the length, the width, and the height. So what's 4 times 2?
8.
Times 1. 8 times 1?
8.
8, right. So we'll say we're using centimeters, cubic centimeters. All right, let's go into box number 2. So first they want to know how many cubes we have packed together. So I have basically 2 layers, 1, 2. So I can count this layer and then I can count the bottom layer. So let's count the top layer. Did you count 10? I counted 10. And then down here on the bottom, I also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 in this layer, 10 in this layer. I had 20 cubes. Now let's count the length. So that's how long it is. What's the length?
Five.
Yep, it's 5 blocks long. How wide is it? And now I'm going this way.
2 blocks long.
2 blocks long. Good. And then the height is how tall it is.
2 as well.
Right. We have 2 layers going from bottom to top. So that's 2 also. So I have 5 times 2 times 2. Go ahead and solve that. Amadio, what did you get for the volume of this figure?
20 cubic centimeters.
Perfect. 20 cubic centimeters. Great job. Okay. So if we were in school, we would do this really cool thing where I would have a graduated cylinder or a beaker. And what I would do is I would take these blocks and I would drop it into some water. And what we would do is we would look at how much water was in there before the blocks. And then I would put in the blocks and we would look to see how high the water has risen. And what you would figure out, and you can always try this at home if you have centimeter cubes. Mine aren't centimeters, so it won't work. But a cubic centimeter, so let's make a note here on your problem set. 1 cubic centimeter, so that's like 1 block, if it was a centimeter block, is exactly the same as 1 milliliter. So that means that if this figure was like a fish tank, maybe, where it just had the walls that were this length, but it was empty, I could pour in water and it would have 20 milliliters of water. So let's go back to box 1. Box 1, we said, was 8 cubic centimeters. That means that if this box were a fish tank, it would hold 8 milliliters of water. So that 8 cubic centimeters is exactly the same as 8 milliliters. For box 2, the volume was 20 cubic centimeters, so it holds 20 milliliters. So 20 cubic centimeters equals 20 milliliters. So this is your key. This is something that if it's not on your reference sheet, you may want to add it on there. So a cubic centimeter is equal to a milliliter. Okay. We're going to skip over part 3 because that's something we would do with materials in the classroom. So let's think about what we just learned about cubic centimeters and milliliters. What conclusion can you draw about 1 cubic centimeter and 1 milliliter? I guess it's not really drawing a conclusion because I just told you. Well, who can remind us what the relationship is between a cubic centimeter and a milliliter? What's the relationship?
They're equal.
Yeah, they're exactly equal. So 1 cubic centimeter is equal to 1 milliliter. They're exactly the same. Okay, I want to look at number 5. The tank, so think of this like a fish tank. The tank, shaped like a rectangular prism, is filled to the top with water. So they've given us the length, the width, and the height. Will the graduated cylinder hold all the water in the tank? If yes, how much more will the beaker hold? If no, how much more will the tank hold than the beaker? So in order to figure out if this beaker will hold all the water that would fit in here, first I have to start by finding the volume. I have to know how many cubic centimeters there are. So I've got length, width, and height. What do I have to do with those 3 numbers to find the volume?
Multiply.
Yeah, I'm going to multiply all three of those. So 13 times 8 times 10. Ooh, 13 times 8. I don't know that one. I'm going to do it over here. I got 4 times 10. Right, if I'm multiplying by 10, I can just put that 0 right on the end, right? So I got 1,040 cubic centimeters. Is that what you guys got? Okay. So now we have to look at this beaker. We need to figure out if it will hold all of this water. Okay, so the volume of this figure is 1,040 cubic centimeters. So let's look at the beaker here. I see that they've marked 500 milliliters and then they've marked 1 liter. Well, I'm not dealing with liters, I'm dealing with milliliters. So how many milliliters is 1 liter?
1,000.
Right. 1,000 milliliters. So the beaker will hold 1,000 milliliters of water. Would it hold all of the water that fits inside this tank?
For the past couple months, I
No.
haven't.
No, right, because 1,040 is more than 1,000. So it says, if no, how much more will the tank hold than the beaker? So how much more? That's a clue that we have to do what?
Subtract.
Right, we're going to subtract. So we're going to subtract 1,040 minus 1,000 because the beaker holds 1,000. So 0 minus 0, 4 minus 0, 0 minus 0, 0 minus 0. So it looks like 40 milliliters is how much more the tank holds. So then I just do an answer statement. The tank will hold 40 milliliters more than the beaker. So the number one thing you need to remember today is that a cubic centimeter is exactly equal to 1 milliliter. So we can look at the volume of a solid and know how much water this would hold if it were in an empty box. So volume can be something solid, or it could be liquid volume, like how much water fits into something. So does anyone have any questions? Okay, here's your job on your exit ticket today. You have a figure and you have a beaker, okay? The first thing you need to do is find the volume of the prism. So you're going to do volume equals length times width times height. You're going to multiply. And then you're going to shade in this beaker to show how much liquid from here would go into the beaker. So once you have your cubic centimeters, you're basically just going to shade this in to show how much water would fit in here. Okay? When you go to do assessments, I believe it will ask you to take a picture of your work. If that is hard for you to do, use your phone or your Chromebook or another device to just take a picture of your actual exit ticket paper, and you can just email that to me if that's easier. Okay? So does anybody have any last questions before we go? All right, good job, guys. Keep up the good work, and I can't wait to see your responses. And then hopefully I'll see you all at 2 o'clock today for a hangout. Okay? Have a great day. Hey, bro.